It was very exciting. I'm just happy that I get an opportunity. Happy that I get to just continue to lead. Be the same guy that I am today, and the same guy that I was yesterday. It's an opportunity for us to just grow, continue to grow as a team, and I'm looking forward to that.
Hey, Chris Sims, I'm actually fascinated by the Denver Broncos because I feel like they're only talked about nationally within the context of, well, that's where Aaron Rodgers wanted to get traded to, or will they make a move for Aaron Rodgers, or for that matter, Deshaun Watson, or even Teddy Bridgewater. We all pull and root for Teddy Bridgewater, love Teddy Bridgewater, but it's like, yeah, but they ain't the guy. Like, you don't really want him to be your quarterback. Like, you want to find a long-term solution, whether it was in Carolina or now in Denver, right? So Teddy Bridgewater beats out Drew Lock, and earlier we played Drew Lock's, very commendable and impressive comments about, how he took the news that he's not going to start week one. I look at that roster. They got a lot of talent on offense at the skill positions. I love the Javonte Williams pick. I love their running back room in general. Defensively, they're still pretty stout on that end, and obviously that's Vic Fangio's area of expertise. So enough rambling from me. You're the expert. How good can Denver be, especially in a division with Kansas City? We all assume they'll win a division, but how good can the Broncos be?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, good question. First off, I think the Broncos, there's always that list of teams, right? Every year that last year didn't make the playoffs. This year they're playoff teams. Hey, I expect like the Patriots, the 49ers, and the Dolphins to be legit playoff contenders. In fact, I'd be shocked if they're not in the playoffs. But then there's those like, what are those three under the radar teams or the under the radar teams in general? Hey, the Chargers, they jump out to me. The Panthers, the Carolina Panthers, I think they're going to jump out on the scene this year. And the Denver Broncos would be that other team that I would throw in the mix there too. You kind of talked about it. First off, the offense it's legit. The talent, they finally got the offensive line figured out. You talked about the running backs. I'm with you. Javonte Williams is the real deal. When you go through the receiving core, what? I mean, it's up there with anybody in football with a healthy Cortland Sutton, if he's back in there. Sutton, excuse me. Him to go with KJ Hamler and Jerry Jeudy. And then let's not forget Noah Fant, really damn good at tight end too in the past game. But the defense is where it is questioned. Vic Fangio's awesome. We do know that. They got, Kyle Fuller from the Bears, Ronald Darby. I think the secondary will be improved. You got Chubb and Von Miller on the edge. Looks like they're going to be 100% go healthy. The question on the defense is the defensive tackles maybe. The interior part of the defense is the one thing you got to look at. But I would be shocked if they're not in the mix of things. And, hey, I'm one that early on in training camp, I always thought, man, Drew Lock is the guy that can maximize all that weaponry they got on the offensive side of the ball. He does have real talent. But at the same time, Vic Fangio's a defensive coach. We know they're always conservative a little bit. They're always a little bit, I want a quarterback that doesn't screw the game up. I'm sure he's a little bit burned from what he saw from Drew Lock last year a few times. Just going, what the hell? Why are you throwing that ball there? There's a mosh pit of guys, and that's an interception. So that's probably still in the back of his mind. And then when you talk about George Payton, the new GM, was in Minnesota with Teddy Bridgewater when he drafted him. As we went through training camp here, I started to go, and some of the comments that came out of Fangio's mouth, especially after last week's game when he talked about moving in the pocket like Brady and doing that, I went, oh, Teddy's got the lead. They're going to name Teddy the starter. So I completely understand it. Hey, Teddy knows how to play ball, and if you want to get your team off to a good start, I understand them going with the guy who's been there, done that, knows how to take care of the football over the guy that, might have more talent, but he might put you in some compromising positions early in the year and you don't get off to a good start. So they got a good situation there, and if Teddy fails, Drew Lock, hopefully he'll be ready to go and can show us all the improvements that he's made, because he did have a real good preseason. Yeah.
Yeah, one way or the other, he'll get an opportunity.
Yeah.
Brother Sims, I can't wait to talk to you about this topic. I am obsessed with young quarterbacks, first-year quarterbacks, and based on the draft, so is the league. 1/3 of those guys go in the top 15. 1/3 of the top 15 is quarterbacks, is a better way of saying it. So I'm wondering, like, as someone who observes the sport and really knows that position and played that position, if we had, because I've gone back and forth with Michael Smith on this, on young quarterbacks and when's the right time to play them, when's the right time to let them sit behind somebody who's a veteran so they can learn. If you had to just break it down, there's something that all of these guys have in common, young quarterbacks and their adjustment from college to the pros. What is that big thing that maybe they don't realize until they start in the pros?
Well, yeah, it's just how much more intense the game is in the NFL level. Just the little room for error. In college football, you could be like, oh, well, yeah, I had a bad series. I had a bad few plays. Like, no, this is the NFL. You have a bad series or a bad few plays, you might be done, period. Out of the game, down by 20 points, who knows what happens. So, I think, always the biggest adjustment, or at least the one I found, and I've talked to other quarterbacks about this too. I am one that always goes, get these guys out there, get them playing. Practice is great and everything like that. But as you know, you don't get hit in practice. So you can pat the ball one extra time and throw the ball 30 yards down the field and be like, yeah, that was a good play. When in reality, you're like, man, you would have got blindsided and might got strip sack fumbled there. Come on. And there is a difference in the NFL as far as how quickly the pocket closes. And of course, when you get to the regular season as compared to the preseason, defenses start to really expand their inventory as far as the different defenses they call, the disguises, everything like that. So, college football, great. Yeah, it's like 5th grade math. It's pretty good. Okay, I got to figure it out. But then you get to the NFL and you start playing defenses like the Ravens and the Chiefs and Tyrann Mathieu over here, and then he drops out over there. It's like advanced geometry. And that's where it's just a grind week to week, mentally and physically, because nobody's going to school. There's no 20-hour rule. Like, it's a grown man sport, and everybody is on their details on a day-to-day basis.
You know who else knows what you just said? Bill Belichick. And that dovetails into the Cam Mac Jones competition that Michael and I have planted our flags on opposite sides of this. I'll just ask, what, if anything, do you read into Cam returning to practice today and reassuming his position as the number one quarterback? Because what I've been saying to Michael, while Mac Jones may look fantastic to our eyes in preseason, in practice, or in games, it doesn't seem like Bill Belichick shares in that evaluation that Mac Jones should be his QB1.
Yeah, no, well, we all know how New England is, right? I mean, they're reluctant to throw rookies out there at any position, let alone quarterback. So I think there is a little bit of trepidation there before we do that. Again, I think it goes back to a little bit what we were just talking about, the first question. Bill Belichick realizes, preseason, training camp's all good. Regular season, different animal. All the starters are out there. The defensive playbook expands. We start to throw more on you as a quarterback, and you got to learn more in our playbook and do those things. So, listen, I'm shocked that they've even entertained the conversation of competition to a degree. That tells you how good Mac Jones is doing. And in fact, Belichick, I think today answered a question from the media after practice and said there's no timetable on the decision. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm shocked that he's even acknowledging there's a decision to be made, really. I mean, that's just the way they are up there. And honestly, after the way Cam played last week, and Mac Jones played awesome too, but when Cam got done with that game, I just went, it's over. He's the man, he's the starter, he's got it. And now all this COVID crap happens. That's going to make New England think
Mac
about,
Jones goes crazy.
Can we depend on him all the time?
Mac Jones goes off in practice yesterday, and everybody's like, it's over.
Exactly.
He's the quarterback. With the opposite direction.
I know. And I don't think it's quite there yet, but I do think he opened the door for Mac Jones with this whole thing, again, to just impress everybody, and that's what he did. So I guess I'm still leaning Cam, but like where I said it was 80-20 maybe a week ago, Cam, Mac Jones, now I feel like it's like 55-45 Cam.
Well, you just said something, and I'll pose this question to both of you. Just a continuation of the conversation you and I were having earlier, Michael, because you just said something that, how you hear and see what you want to see. Again, that confirmation bias to talk about. So Cam comes back today, and he's QB1. He's taking the reps again. I'm like, see, you know what? Nothing changed. But the fact that Belichick, and maybe this was just him with the media, but he had no hesitation before about saying Cam's our starter, and somebody's got to play better than him to win the job. No hesitation, right? You just pointed something out that after the practice today, he then says there's no timetable on the decision, therefore acknowledging that there's a decision to be made. And so is that more telling than who took the first team reps today? Chris, then Michael.
I think it says something for sure.
Right?
I mean, I know Michael Holley. I know he knows Belichick and his ways too. But that's why I brought it up. I just thought, damn, that was kind of a signal there. I don't know if that was a slip of tongue, but either way, like you said, he's been pretty steadfast on Cam's a starter and you got to beat him out. And now today there's no timetable on the decision, which he's acknowledging, damn, now there's a decision to be made. I still expect it to be Cam. I do. But even if it is Cam, I think he'll be on a very short leash early on in the year. And if it doesn't go well, I don't think they're going to be scared to throw Mac Jones out there one bit.
Yeah, I can see that.
What he said, what Chris Sims just said, I think he's in a position also where he's receiving some information that doesn't necessarily is not consistent with what he feels. In other words, he's listening to different opinions, and he does that. Belichick, as you know, Chris, Belichick likes differing opinions as long as you've done the work. Show your work. It's like, back to your math analogy, Chris. Show your work. So how'd you come up with that? Don't just throw it out there. Tell me what your process is. All right, I'll consider it. I respect that you've got a little system here. You got a method to what you're saying. But I want to ask you something else, Chris, and this is off of what happened with Cam Newton, but it's a larger league issue. How would you handle, how do you think the best coaches should handle this situation? Cam Newton clearly is not vaccinated. That's why he had to go through the protocols that he went through. If you look at what the rules are and what he had to do, he's not a vaccinated player. And that wasn't really a secret, but now it's an open secret. How would you handle it as a coach in this situation where coach can't tell you you can't mandate a vaccine, but a vaccine makes it easier for us to do our business? How do you think the best coaches should handle these situations?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think, first off, I heard you guys talking earlier, and where, like, I know Michael Smith, you were saying you think Belichick let Cam off the hook, right? By kind of saying, he didn't break team rules. I think that's what you were talking about. Maybe I was wrong. I kind of cut into it late. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Either way, I know he said he didn't break team rules. Yeah, technically he didn't break team rules. He broke the damn NFL rules. But back to like you, Michael Holley, and what you're saying there, I think if I'm a head coach or even a quarterback of the team, I'm not, again, trying to force people to get the vaccine, but I'm trying to explain to them the competitive disadvantage we'll be at. And that, hey, this is about team and camaraderie and coming together, and we got to be able to depend on each other. And there's people's livelihoods here at stake, our coaches, other guys on the team, things like that. We got to be at our best. Listen, I was a little hesitant with the vaccine myself, but damn, I want to be on the field for Tampa, Dallas when NBC's down there. So I'm going to do that. I don't want to get anybody else sick or in the hospital. And I think that's the thing that I would kind of try to preach. You're not going to make grown men change their mind, or not force the decision, but maybe you can continue to point out how important it is to get it, not only, I think, for society, but also just for the team itself to be at its very best and not be at a competitive disadvantage and maybe not lose 8 guys to COVID protocol all of a sudden on a Thursday or Friday afternoon and go, damn, this was a big game this week. And now we're missing 7 starters, and it doesn't look good. It doesn't look like we can win this game.
Hey, man.
You down with that? You okay with that answer, Michael Holley?
I love that answer. I love that. I'm sitting there nodding. You didn't see me. I'm nodding. I'm giving, I gave you some amens on that. A few of them. Great answer.
It didn't look good for us at one point, but we powered through those technical difficulties, and we had our usual insightful conversation with Chris Sims. We know it's your Friday, man, so we appreciate you taking the time, as always, every week, and we will talk to you next week, all right? Be good.
You the man. Be good. Be good. Always good being with you. Big Friday night for me tonight, baby. Hey, and Holley, those Red Sox, how'd they do last weekend? Red Sox?
They didn't do so well. Hey, listen, I don't know if you believe in jinxes or not, but hey, the Yankees have won 11 in a row. They can't lose. The Yankees can't lose 11 games in a row. They're amazing. They play tonight. They play the A's tonight. We'll see how that turns out.